Hey guys, we are back with another video. This is gonna be another Euros related video. The quarterfinals starts tomorrow. I'm recording this on the 4th. Tomorrow is the Spain and the Portugal game, so it's gonna be very exciting, and that's why I'm bringing this video to you a day early for people in the US, maybe not so early for people in the UK, but I'm happy that you guys are here if you are watching this video. Um, I am here with my brother and friend. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Well, we done already two Euro videos and coming along quite nicely. I mean, I'm just a football nerd, and and these Euros has been quite entertaining. So I'm looking forward to the next coming matches. But what's your best match from the four matches we have for this quarterfinals round? What's the one you think is gonna be the best match?
Alright, let's dive into the bracket. I think the best match probably is going to be the Spain-Germany match tomorrow. 9 a.m. for me. I think it's 5 p.m. for you, if I'm correct. That match
Yes.
is going to be, I think, a you know, maybe a potential winner of the tournament is in that match because they have played, in my opinion, the two best footballs, more convincing wins. Um, compared to the other big teams.
Yeah, Spain has looked way better going forward than any other team, I think. In general, they have two great wingers who are very good at dribbling and beating their man. The only thing they tend to lack, it seems to be some like finishing touch to get the ball in the back of the net. But they actually, against Georgia, they managed to do. They kind of missed a few chances, but they scored four in the end, so that wasn't too bad. Germany struggled a bit more against Denmark, I would say. They had a bit of a lucky, but the VAR intervention was quite helpful to getting the penalty to win to get the first goal, and then the second goal came a bit later. So Germany I think, against Denmark was less convincing than in the rest of the group stage. But in general, Spain, I think, is probably the better team coming in terms of football. Whilst Germany might be a bit of a dark horse because of obviously, I think Spain they can be quite weak at the back if they basically counterattack, and that's something that can be quite dangerous, especially with Mushilara looking great form. So it'll be an interesting match, but my bet is Spain will take it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Nico Williams has been probably my standout player for the Spain national team. He's been performing incredible. They have two quick wingers, like you said. They're pacey. Germany do, not have. Germany's defense is good, but they do. I mean, counterattacks are always a tough one because Germany's defenders, if I remember correctly, they do have some older guys in the defense. So maybe the young guns will be able to overrun them with speed. But Georgia obviously scored against Spain, which means Spain are not that strong at the back, like you said. Germany didn't concede a goal, so you know a clean sheet is always important. Um, gives you that confidence in the back as well. Um, yeah, jump into the second quarterfinal, another big one between France and Portugal. And two teams that have been so unconvincing throughout this uh, tournament and the round of 16 really proved that. With the Portugal just barely beating Slovenia in penalties, and France beating Belgium with an own goal.
Yeah, this match is going to be a match of underperforming teams, or very much. France is. We expected a lot more from France, so they have been really poor, especially in the goal scoring side. From a team that has the sort of forwards they have been so poor going forward. They only have one goal, and that's a penalty. The other two goals were both own goals, so they have struggled quite a lot in terms of the scoring goals. But I think also partly because the opposition they faced were very tight in the defense. Portugal, we'll see how it works. Portugal has struggled breaking down teams as well. That's another problem that they had. But they also have conceded quite a bit. So this might be a dangerous game for Portugal because France's attack. I expect France's attack to really break out in this match. I think Portugal might lose this match, even though there's always a chance Portugal ups their game and they actually play a bit more their kind of usual football and actually beat France. But in my eyes, I think France might break out here. Their attack might score a few goals against this Portuguese side that has looked quite frail defensively, and they will probably win.
Yeah, and if you go back to the the round 16 match, Portugal really relied on penalties to beat Slovenia, but Slovenia could have won the game, as could Portugal, and just the scoring of prowess from Portugal is just not there. You look at this team, they look so good, but they just couldn't score against Slovenia. And France have a much better defense. Obviously, they're gonna play again a bit more offensive, but I think Portugal will struggle, and I think they will be eliminated here as well. A lot of mistakes from the back from them as well, like the Pepe mistake. Sheshko could have easily scored and won the game. Antonio Silva has been underperforming as well throughout the tournament. Well, France just they haven't been able to score a goal from open play yet. Obviously, they played Belgium, who again is just a team that just hasn't been scoring at all. So, um, but they relied on an own goal, so it's not convincing at all. It just has been tough for them. France is my favorite as well. I think it's going to be a Spain-France semi-final on that side of the bracket. And then going into the next game, Netherlands, Romania happened, and Austria and Turkey, which leads to Netherlands, Turkey in the quarterfinals. Interesting game. I think Netherlands just kind of, I mean, they showed up. Like the other teams, the other games, it was like big team versus small team, and it was like kind of tight. But Netherlands kind of showed up and really stamped their authority in the game. Cody Gakpo played really well during the game, and the Turkey game was probably the best game of the round. Definitely recommend people to rewatch it. It was a really incredible, tight game. Um, yeah, Turkey ended up on top. I don't know if they should have. The XG actually showed that Austria should have had an XG of 3 against Turkey's XG of 1.8, so or something like that. So I think in terms of technical ability, Turkey won it by being a bit cleaner. Austria should have won the game based on XG. Um, so it's tough to say how this Turkey team is going to perform against Netherlands.
Well, yeah, I wasn't necessarily surprised the Netherlands beat Romania. I think they did it very convincingly. They could have scored a lot more goals. I mean, the start of the match, I think the Netherlands were a bit they were getting into the match, so it took a while for them to get heated up. And then after they scored the goal, then they were by far the better side, and then they just rolled Romania. So the Netherlands looking, I think that was a very much an improved performance. So now I think Netherlands has that has put Netherlands up a notch in my eyes in terms of potential winners for the tournament. I think they can challenge. That match was just very much sort of setting the pace. Obviously, it was against weak opposition, but Netherlands have faced good teams. They have played France, they played Austria, but yeah, they this was a convincing. Probably will give a lot of confidence to the Netherlands to the team going forward. So I think that was a big pace, big changer. In terms of Austria, in terms of Turkey, their win against Austria was very much, yeah, like you mentioned, is it's very much this sort of not necessarily a fluke. Both goals came from set pieces. The first one from some terrible defending at like 1 minute, less than 1 minute in. So that really threw the match in a completely different direction. So I think Austria really paid for that mistake. I think that was probably something that really impacted the rest of the match. And then obviously Turkey got the second goal, and then Austria decided to try and actually get into the match. So I think this Turkey side does not convince me. They played a lot better though match, but they were still, I think, not the better side in general. But they got good talent. Arda Güler showed up how good he is in both corners. You could say he assisted both goals, so he's definitely a very impressive player. But in terms of team quality here, I'm pretty sure Netherlands should take this match with a certain amount of ease.
Yeah, I agree with you. Netherlands, their team is incredible. They have some really outstanding players. Uh, you know, it should be another easy result for them. Turkey have been poor at defending throughout the tournament. Netherlands have a good attack and their defense is pretty solid. Um, so yeah, like I said, I expect this to be a Netherlands advance um, in that regard. And the other one, obviously the biggest probably craziness that happened, England versus Slovakia and Switzerland versus Italy. Um, where to start? Italy being eliminated. I mean, I think a few people could see it coming. Italy, not the most convincing team throughout the group stage. They were like a few minutes from being out of the tournament, um, potentially. Uh, they haven't been good at really anything, scoring or defending. Um, there has been some standout players on the other team, Switzerland. They Granit Xhaka has been performing very well. Um, Yeah, Switzerland have been pretty good. They've challenged Germany in the groups as well. 2-0, very convincing, knocking out the Euros current title holders. They advance, and I think that gives them a lot of confidence coming to the next match against another team that is like one of the favorites. Italy weren't a favorite, but reigning champion. Definitely, when you step onto the pitch, you're gonna be feeling a little nervous. England against Slovakia, in crazy game. I'm sure a lot of England fans were so anxious and nervous. They were 30 seconds away from getting eliminated from the tournament. And then who else but Jude Bellingham to score to pretty much save them from getting knocked out and getting completely embarrassed. Um, they do score another goal in extra time to advance, but very unconvincing throughout. Even when they scored the second goal, they just sat back, and Slovakia could have scored to equalize. So this team just feels like they score one goal and then they just play everyone at the back and just invite pressure, and it's it's not good. I heard some rumors that Southgate's gonna change his lineup and formation for the next match, but why would you? It's a bit weird if you change everything up now. Um, but yeah, what do you think? It's an interesting one. I think two teams that look good. Well, one team looks much better. The other one is like scraping along almost, uh, barely being able to score, bad defensively. What do you think?
Well, this match, England versus Switzerland, is it's an interesting match. Switzerland has looked like a very good side, a very hard to beat side. They drew two matches. They drew against Germany, but they that was a very late goal, so they were winning that match until right at the end. And against Scotland, they drew as well. But they have been very good, Switzerland. They have been very hard to beat, very good defensively, and they have been good going forward as well. So I mean, that game against Italy, they really beat Italy very convincingly. They dominated the game. They scored an early goal, and they just kept the pressure on. And then Italy had no way, and they never even were a threat to Switzerland. England, on the other hand, played a very poor game. They are still a team that basically doesn't seem to know how to score. They can't attack well. Their defense is dodgy as well. So it's just a very bad team. I don't see why would Southgate change. Uh, I don't see how the team would change. I think it's in general. I think the team just needs to play how they played against Italy. Pressure, put on the pressure, they will score a goal because that's what Slovakia did. Slovakia pressured England early on. They scored a goal and then they sat back. And then even though Slovakia were just defending pretty much for 60 minutes of the game, they were still able to basically keep England without any major chances until that goal at the end, where it was like a little mistake. But yeah, Switzerland is obviously better going forward than Slovakia, and also if they just keep the pressure on, I think this England team will fold and they will probably beat this England team quite convincingly, like they did to Italy. So I think Switzerland here should be looking for a semi-final spot, and they could potentially beat Netherlands as well. I think I really have a lot of expectations of this Swiss side. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that match go. But my Switzerland is definitely my pick to win there.
So I've seen ITV just announced a rumored lineup against Switzerland. I'll send it to you right now. This is the lineup that's being rumored to be playing for the game against Switzerland. You know, change in the formation. As you can see, that would be a little bit different than what they're playing so far. Um, they're basically the rumor lineup is free at the back with Trent and Saka on the left wing back and right wing back, and defensive midfielder Kobe Mainu and Declan Rice, and two attacking midfielders in Bellingham and Phil Foden, with Harry Kane up top. So they would be playing Saka and Trent would be playing kind of in a midfield position on the wings, but not super far up the pitch, which would be interesting. Um, but changing it all now definitely a little weird. Switzerland, they're probably just gonna keep their same lineup. They actually haven't conceded very many goals throughout the tournament. They have scored against some good teams. I favor Switzerland in this one just because of what we saw from England in the group stage, just not being able to score, drawing against multiple teams, barely scraping against Slovakia. But England are one of those teams that can just turn it on, like a Portugal, like they scrape through and then they somehow just start playing football. I also think England play better football against better teams. I do feel like when they play against weaker teams, they're the type of team that plays to the level of their opponents rather than play their level all the time. Um, but yeah, I'd probably like to see a Netherlands Switzerland semi-finals there. I think from what we've seen, that would be the most um, close one because both those teams are performing very well. I also wouldn't mind the Netherlands England, but I think it's going to be a tough one to decide who makes it to the final from that side. And then on the other side, we have France against Spain, another nail biter of a game. I definitely think the top side of the bracket, whoever wins that, should win the tournament. I think Spain, for me, are my favorites to win as of right now. I don't know about you. I think runner-up for me would probably be Netherlands. I think it's gonna be a Spain-Netherlands final.
I mean, that makes complete sense to me, unless Turkey surprises, because I think Turkey is kind of this dangerous team because of how they play with a lot of energy, but they don't seem to be well coached and very good overall, very organized. That's I think the main problem. But they played very strongly against Austria. They managed to score those goals when it mattered. But yeah, I think Spain's are my favorites, and I would say Netherlands probably is the best team out of that other the bottom bracket. So Spain versus Netherlands, but this could all go haywire if Spain loses tomorrow. But yeah, for me, Spain and Netherlands have shown to be really good teams.
Yeah, and it's definitely really hard to predict because it is tight matches. Spain, Germany, whoever shows up in the day and performs better is gonna win the game. Portugal, France, the same thing. If Portugal have an off day, France will win. If France play like they have and Portugal somehow start turning it up, they will win. It's Turkey is probably the only team there that I'm like, they have been really bad at the back. They have scored only through like set pieces or magical moments. Uh, Netherlands have a good defensive line. I'm a bit worried for Turkey in terms of like how they're gonna be able to break down Netherlands. Um, that's the only game I'm really worried about. But if Turkey come up, show up, I think they have a good chance. You know, it's not like Netherlands have been convincing throughout the entire tournament. Um, England, Switzerland, another heated match. I think definitely one to watch out for. I think that's probably one of the games that's like I would put it up there with like Portugal, France, Spain, Germany because that's gonna be a very tight game.
Yeah, I mean these are all great matches. I think everyone should be tuning in to watch because these are some cracking matches that we don't see every day. So I think everyone should really watch them. And I think whoever wins, obviously, it will always depend on the goal. It depends on the game. Like for instance, Portugal versus France. It could be like the Austria game where well, the weaker team, well, possibly Portugal in this case, scores an early goal and then that changes the whole match. It could always, those whole things could happen. Maybe a goal is penalties conceded and VAR picks it up, and there's all sorts of things that could change. But in terms of the better teams, I think it should be Spain, France, Netherlands, and Switzerland in the semifinals, and then Spain and Netherlands in the finals, with Spain coming out as the winner, with probably Nico Williams being the best player of the tournament, or Rodri.
Yeah, I very much agree with you. I think Nico Williams, standout player, 50 million release clause. I think he's gonna be going places. I think Barcelona really want to sign him as well. So, but that's not part of this video. Thank you guys for watching if you made it this far, and we'll be back with the semi-finals. So stay tuned in. I'll see you in the next time.